Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some key steps, in fact, 6 key steps to have more positive work relationships. The very first thing that I think is really important when we go into the workplace, especially as insecure attachment styles, is to know our boundaries in advance. This is particularly important for anxious, preoccupied individuals and fearful avoidance because both of these attachment styles tend to fall into a pattern in the workplace where they people please and they take on other people's work at the expense of their own deadlines, their own work, their own ability to focus on what they're supposed to be doing. And this can either lead to feeling burnt out, or this can lead to feeling unseen or unheard, or like there's imbalanced relationships in the workplace where you're giving, and then people are taking advantage. And that is only going to create long-term wounds of feeling like betrayed, taken advantage of, unseen, or it is going to create resentment. And it is a really, really great way to burn out. So just that is the first thing that is super important, to know your boundaries ahead of time and to make an effort to respect your boundaries. And your boundaries are not just your boundaries like, oh, I know I have to end work at a certain time. Your boundaries are also like the amount of pressure you put on yourself, how much you decide to like put on your plate in terms of your expectations. And if you're boundaryless in the relationship to yourself with all this pressure and expectation and all these kinds of things, because you're afraid of not being good enough, if you're more anxious, because you're afraid of not earning your worth, if you're more fearful avoidant, then you're going to get into a place where even if you're just working a set of hours that are the same as everybody else, it's a lot more draining for you. So this includes your boundaries in terms of the expectation, pressure, and overwhelm you sort of put in the relationship to yourself. Number 2, know your strengths and weaknesses. It may sound like sort of superficial, but it's a really important thing to introspect and to know, like, where are my strengths and where are my weaknesses? I personally, as a human being, know that I have a strong weakness when it comes to a lot of detailed stuff, like responding to tedious emails that are lengthy. I like to talk. I like to be in person. I like to get stuff done like that efficiently, quickly, and sometimes patience for me is a thing. So I actually try to move a lot of what I do. Like if I had to write articles for a living instead about this stuff, I would still get some enjoyment out of it because I love this industry so much. But I would probably be more likely to have, some procrastination, some self-sabotage habits, because I like speaking. I like talking to people. I like being around people. And so I've positioned myself to be a lot more facing people. And that makes it easier for me. So, and we can work on our weaknesses as well, but we can also play to our strengths. And a combination of those things is very valuable for the work that we do. Number 3, take accountability for things. I literally don't think that there's anything more just like, it's just so tough, like to see people not taking accountability for stuff, because it's usually because they're in shame and they don't want to sort of like look at themselves. And there's just so many downsides to that. It stops you from growing. It stops you from expanding. I honestly feel like it just stops problems from being resolved a lot of the time when people are unwilling to be like, yeah, I made a mistake. I apologize. Let me take some action. And there's nothing like being accountable and taking responsibility for your life that will bring you more freedom, more opportunity, more growth. Like, it's scary at first, but when you just get in the habit of being like, yes, I did that wrong, I can do better, let me put some strategies together, like that, just that solution-oriented mindset will just keep you growing and sort of inspired. And I feel like when people shirk accountability, they really limit themselves more than anything else. So that's a really big one. And I really have, I think it really impacts working relationships. Number 4, realize that attachment styles in the workplace is a real thing. Your attachment style will totally show up in the workplace. And even once we heal and we become secure, we'll still have natural like personality patterns of our attachment style that are important to take into consideration and to be aware of, and just to be mindful of, like, hey, how are some of these things going to affect us? For example, like fearful avoidance, they tend to like their freedom and their, ability to kind of make their own schedule and do their own things and have some flexibility and these sorts of things. And so the more there's that, dynamic in the workplace, even though you may not be fearful avoidant anymore, maybe you did work and you became secure, or you were dismissive avoidant and then you became secure, you're still going to have certain like tendencies from your attachment style that are likely to show up. Number 5 is communicate through things as much as you can to the best of your ability. I highly recommend actually working through things. If there's a problem or challenge, have a conversation, be direct, and find resolution. And by the way, if you want help with either of these things, we have 2 courses in PDS. You can try it for free by clicking the link in the description box below. It's for the 7-day free trial. And it'll give you access for free for 7 days to check out everything. But the attachment styles in the workplace course, awesome, gives you printouts. You can print all that stuff off immediately. Gives you like just insight and ideas into like your attachment style, other people's attachment styles. And it really helps you not personalize things so much. And it really helps you see like outside of, how your attachment style might show up in the workplace, and how to introspect more about what different patterns you might need work on or to improve upon or to be aware about. And if somebody of a different attachment style is more short or more blunt, maybe it's not because they don't like you. Maybe it's because that's their way of working. They value efficiency. Maybe they're more dismissive avoidant, and APs can take that more personally. So anyways, there's just a whole bunch of like rich information to learn there in that arena. So you can check that out. And also when it comes to communicating through things, and I still have one more important thing for you, but the number 6 in positive work relationships, but communicating through things, we have 2 amazing courses for this. We have a conflict resolution course and a communication scripts course that literally helps you. You can print off all the scripts and all this stuff. And it helps you like address challenging situations. So we have a variety of different situations that are there, and you can use these things as a resource. And number 6 is practice not taking things personally. So just practice, like people have different patterns of behavior. People have different tendencies. People have different things that they do when they're stressed. And it's so easy to see like a coworker stress, for example, and maybe they're like a little shorter than usual, and to be like, oh, what happened? What's wrong? Just realize that's probably them and their stuff. Like they're probably under stress or whatever it might be at work. And just the more you can not personalize it, not take it on, the more you can focus on like your growth, your joy, your happiness, the things that you're there to focus on. So just some important tips for this week in terms of your work relationships. Let me know if you want to see anything else about this. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.